Hey everyone, I'm Eric Kimball and I'm here today in this video to give you an update on the rye seed crop that I'm growing here in my mini bed garden. If you've watched my previous videos or you've read my mini bed gardening trilogy report, you know that I'm a big fan of rye as a cover crop in my garden. The rye, which gets planted in the fall, puts an enormous amount of root mass in the soil, and in the spring it grows up and I get top growth. And I can harvest that top growth off. I leave the roots in the soil and it's all good. That top growth is used as a mulch throughout the mini beds all through the growing season. But this year, this is a first for me. I decided to grow 2 of the mini beds up and harvest the seeds so I can use them. I'm growing my own seed for cover crop, for rye. And if this works, I'll do this every year. These seed heads look really good to me for the most part. I'll close up and show you. I'm not exactly certain when to harvest them, but my understanding from reading the internet is that the seeds are harvested when they're hard, when your fingernail can't dent into them or barely dents into them. Well, these aren't at that point quite yet, and I'll show you in just a moment where we are with the kernels and the hardness and softness of them. But I cannot imagine that the seed heads are getting anything that they need from the ground up through the stalks. The stalks are dying. So what I'm going to do is cut them off, shock them together, tie them together, and hang them up to dry. And then I'm going to use the bottom straw for mulch in my garden, and I'm going to get these mini beds cleaned up and so I can plant something in them. I've been planting cabbage and broccoli this morning for fall harvest. This is July, by the way, July 10th. And last night I've been planting beets and carrots. So I'm thinking about fall, and I'm thinking about my seed harvest here, my rye seed harvest. This is looking really good. I'm 5'8" or 9 on a good day, 8 not on a good day. But anyway, you can gauge the height of these. Very, very nice to see anything grow tall like this. So let's take one of these seed heads here and we'll get a seed out. And I'm not looking to see if I'm focused. Hopefully I am. And here, we'll set this, put this under my arm. Okay, and there's a seed right there. Okay, and we'll do the fingernail dent test. Just push my fingernail in, and that is not denting, it's mushing. We're at the doughy stage, maybe. Maybe that's what they call it, the mushy stage. Whoop. So I'm going to harvest these tops only with tin snips. I'm sure that tin snips are not the most efficient way to harvest your rye, but as a novice grain gardener, I'm going to use what I have, which is tin snips, and I'm going to just snip them off like that, and I'm going to lay them in a pile. So I'll show you when I get the pile done. And there we have it, harvested. I'll harvest the lower part here later, but for now, I want you to see that I have 2 bundles of the harvested tops. And I also want to show you that as I was bundling these up, there's some seeds that fell out of the heads. There's more than that, but there's 2, 3. And so, that's interesting. Now here they are. I've bundled one up with polypropylene baling twine to hold it together. And I'm going to show you how I did that with this other shock of grain. And I'll tell you a little story. I think the best way to tie bundles like this together is to use a miller's knot. And that's what I've used here. And that's what I'm going to show you. And if it isn't clear what I'm showing you, and it may not be, you can find a video, I'm sure a YouTube video, that will tell you in more detail, a little closer up, how to make the knot. This knot, this miller's knot, is one that I learned how to make when I was a teenager, because I worked at a mill, a flour mill that made pancake mix, New Hope Mills. It was just up the road from me, and I made this knot to tie together bags literally thousands of times. And the top of the bags, you bunch them together That's why I have to hold this kind of upright, like a bag. But otherwise I'm kind of backwards. I can't figure it quite right. I worked at New Hope Mills when I was in high school, junior and senior year. The mill was less than a mile up the road. I would go there every day after school to work a little bit, and I would go there on Saturdays to work. I would go there on vacations and work all I could. And I would, if we had a snow day, I'd go up and work. I worked all I could because my parents did not have a lot of money. They couldn't give me money or you know, make life that easy for me. So I worked all I could. I didn't go out for sports. I wasn't in clubs at school. I just came home and worked. And I was glad to work. Very thankful. It was a good job for me as a kid. So this is, you just saw me make that one knot. This is how you do it. You bring the twine around. We'll come up here a little further. And you see my finger? See that? You probably didn't catch it if you're not familiar with this knot, but I'll do it again. Because I get confused with knots, but not this one. So you come around and you put your finger up through that. I'm making a loop to come through again. You come up here, coming around, and we're going through that loop I made. Okay. Anyway, then once we've got that, then just give it a tug and it holds. See that? Isn't that amazing? Yeah, I was very thankful for that job at New Hope Mills as a kid. And the funny thing is, they've expanded. They've moved out of the rural setting into the city of Auburn. Got a wonderful cafe. My son works for New Hope Mills now. My youngest son, James. It's a destination spot. If you're ever in Auburn, New York, go out to New Hope Mills, check out the store, and check out the cafe. Look at, isn't that beautiful? I'm gonna hang these up. I can see a few seeds here. Maybe I'll put a tarp under them wherever I hang them. I'm gonna hang them in my shed. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So there you go, folks. Well, there's the harvest of the beautiful rye grain, winter rye for cover crops. Be interesting to see how much seed I get out of there when I finally get around to rashing it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.